My final guest. My final guest in 10 years has gone from being a struggling Scottish club singer and student to being one of America's most successful recording artists. Please welcome from Glasgow and now Los Angeles, Sheena Easton. Sheena, very good. Good to see you. Excellent. Right. Now, well, I'm glad we've enticed you back here. You don't often appear back over in Britain, do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah. So people remember. So people remember you from you got your big break on the Big Time, or the Big Time on the Big Break, whichever it was.
Yeah.
And do you thinking back to that? Do you think that's the without that you'd never have had your career? Would you've got it anyway? Do you think?
I think that without that, I hopefully would have made it because I was kind of determined. But I know that the Big Time propelled me much sooner.
Yeah.
But I was the kind of person that always auditioned for things. You know? I was at drama school and I auditioned for Annie, actually, was the first thing I auditioned for.
Yeah.
I saw in the papers that they were looking for an Annie for a touring production. And they wanted somebody who was 5'1" and, you know, 10 years old. And I was about 17 or 18 at the time, and I was kind of well built, you know, but I thought I had arthritis.
Well, your hands had developed early, had they?
I had that medical complaint, arthritis thing. And, but I thought, oh, what the hell, I'll go anyway. And so I got done at the final 8. I did okay. So I thought, well, if I can get through that kind of thing, I'll audition for anything.
From then on, you went reasonably rapidly up the charts and then across to America.
I did, yeah.
And do you like it there, or is...
I do. Obviously, I live there. You can tell by the weird accent, you know.
It's Glasgow going on sort of San Francisco with a bit of... It's
kind of strange. It's got a... People tell me I sound Texan at times, too, and I don't know where it comes from. It's kind of awful, actually. But,
No, you must sort of pick up accents as you're flying over them. There's a bit of Tristan da Cunha in there, I think.
Yeah. But, don't know who that is, but I'm trying to look intelligent anyway. I do like it.
Go Glasgow, I mean, headbutt me. But
that's right. I think it would be really kind of phony if I started to do a Scottish accent all of a sudden.
Well, now, you're often mentioned in the papers as like the sort of 30th richest woman in the world, just behind the Queen or something, or just ahead of Queen. But, I mean, it's 38 million pounds you're supposed to earn. I mean,
that's the most recent figure that I've heard. This is based on pure garbage.
Yes. What, was that a sideline or what? Is that... Are you just being hard on your act? I don't know. No, I'm not. But I mean, is this? Are they just guessing, or is it based? Are they within a ballpark figure there?
That's the best I've heard of that. No, this truly came from, I guess, it was a slow day, you know, in one of the tabloid newspapers, and they'd written too many stories about who they thought I was sleeping with, so he said, I know, let's do a millionaire thing.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm not denying it, I've made a good lot of money, but this is just outrageous. It's a really outrageous sum, and the thing that worries me is, how am I going to lose this fortune, you know? I mean, is there going to be some kind of scandalous story about, you know, she got one Chippendale dancer a night to perform and blew all her money, or put it all in the slot machines at Vegas? Because if they can make the story up, then obviously, sooner or later, if I don't have that money, then they're going to have to make a story about how it goes away.
Well, the backup part of the story is that you've invested well in property.
Oh, I know. Now, anybody that's got half a brain, I think that includes you, I'm not sure.
That's the Glasgow coming back, I think.
That's right. What did the nut you on?
I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, anyone's got half a brain.
Knows that in anywhere in the world, but certainly in Los Angeles, the real estate market, you know, is terrible. You can't.
At the moment, it's pretty bad, isn't it?
At the moment, it's really bad.
Because you live under the H of Hollywood. That's
so they say.
So they say. I'm only going on what.
I can't even see the Hollywood sign from my house.
Oh, now, that's a shame. It'd be great to be under the H of Hollywood. You could just plug it in for your television, couldn't you?
They've said so much about how I live. I've heard that I live in a huge mansion with a heart-shaped swimming pool. And then about a week later, I lived in a 2-up, 2-down semi next to truck drivers.
Yes.
Because I was such a nice girl, I hadn't forgotten my roots.
Yes.
So,
neither are they, obviously, but where do you live then? What do you live? Let's not say what isn't true. What do you live in? A sort of small palace?
No,
or what?
I'm a small stately home. I live in a really nice, decent-sized home on a good-sized piece of land. I do not have a swimming pool, I swear to God, because the last house I had a swimming pool, and I never used it. Well, I used it that one time, but can't talk about that.
Oh, that sounds good. What was that one time?
I can't swim, so, you know, I
not
don't
after
have
that, not after that one time.
We had to have the pool cleaned
Now,
out
talking of one time, there's the other story that... The other story, which I'm sure is not true, is circulated when you did some work with Prince. There was a suggestion that, well, I don't know, that you were a princess for the night or something, but...
Princess for a day.
Yeah.
They're always trying to decide that if since I'm single now, and I've been single for quite a while, ever since my second divorce, they kind of hate that because, you know, they want to have you attached to somebody. So if I work with somebody, then they have me either having a torrid affair or getting married to them. And actually, I've got a few male friends in the business, and
is Prince one of them? I've got to press you on this.
He is one of them. He is a good friend of mine. We worked together about, I don't know, 8 years ago, and we've stayed friends ever since. But the most recent one I just found out from my mother a couple of months back was, I hear I'm getting married to Andre Agassi.
Oh, great. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Sometime before Wimbledon, I hear. So we'll keep you informed.
So it'll be a mixed double at Wimbledon, you and Andre Agassi. That's a good story.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I wonder if Prince is going to come to the wedding.
Well, I never know. The other thing, apart from your Girl Next Door image, you ran into some trouble a few years ago with one of your records. Was it Walls?
Isn't that an ice cream company?
I don't know. Sugar Walls. Now that got banned by the vice president's wife or something?
No, it didn't. Tipper Gore, however, you know, I must say that I'm a big supporter of her husband, but Tipper's taste is a little strange from time to time.
Not in husbands, apparently.
No, not in husbands. Cool, I'd go for her husband.
But what was wrong with Sugar Walls? Oh, we'll have that in the papers tomorrow then.
After having worked her way through music and sport, she's now gone into politics, right?
It's downhill, isn't it?
It was one of those...
Like those houses.
Yeah.
Now,
it's one of those things where she was in this group that wanted to kind of legislate the controlling of song lyrics, like a censorship thing. And so my song was one of the songs that was cited as being terribly bad for teenagers to listen to. It could corrupt them.
But was it a censorship thing, or she just not like your music? I mean, what was the...
I think she knows I fancy her husband.
And the other thing you've done, which fits into the California lifestyle, you got your workout video? Have you got?
Yes, I've been genuinely a fitness person ever since I collapsed with my first ulcer.
Right. Was this while you were doing your video, or was this, you know...
Just before it,
Just before,
I decided I better get in shape, and I stopped eating Mars bars and...
Bounties.
And Bounties. And I started eating healthy and working out because I was just, you know, I didn't have enough energy to get through my day.
So what's the video? It's the Sheena Easton workout video?
Well, actually, I was the spokesperson, which just means the person that gets paid.
Yes.
For...
you know what you're doing in this business, don't you?
For a chain of health spas in the States.
Right.
And then I brought out my own... You're going to die laughing. See, I don't even want to say this because you'll have a great one-liner for this.
Sadly, probably not, but...
I did a stomach video.
A stomach video?
Yes. It was a...
Well, you swallowed it? Or,
It was a...
It's the best I could come up with, I guess. What do? You put it on the video and you go like that? Or was that what's the... No, we're running out of time.
You should have seen the view I had of that room.
We'll look at that later on. Thank you very much, Sheena Easton. That's just time for me. Thanks to Liam Britton, Will Carling, and Sheena Easton, me, Clive Ellison. Say good night. Good night.
And doing the talking next on 4 is Lenny Henry in a one-man show from Birmingham.